Hello everyone. Yeah, Liverpool out of the FA Cup after a 4-3 defeat at Old Trafford, the bitterest of places to be defeated. Yeah, a bad feeling, a bad taste in the mouth after that one, but here's an opportunity for you to exorcise a few of those demons, if only in text form. Get me your reaction to that match in the live show chat here on YouTube. If you're a YouTube member, you can tweet us at the Redmen TV on x.com, and you can use the Discord chat or the Facebook chat as well if you want to. Right, yeah, fun. Love these shows when we lose, especially when it's to our most bitter of rivals. Allister, Noel McLean kicking us off, just as bottle jobs. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because this is the thing. Manchester United is such an emotive game of football. They are the bitterest of rivals for Liverpool. So it makes it hurt more when it's a defeat. It absolutely does. And it's really weird because, and I said this in the pre-match, you know, we came through against Chelsea in the League Cup final with less footballers available too. We've managed to progress to this stage of the FA Cup, playing weaker sides. We've kept the league going, still top of the league. Or there or thereabouts, with that kind of injuries weighing against us. So when you get players back and you go up against a team that's not very good, like Manchester United, or certainly, they're not a great footballing institution, they've been rubbish for a decade, then logic follows that you should just be able to beat them. And for large portions of that game, that looked like exactly what was going to happen. So yeah, it is a very, very bitter pill to swallow. But it's weird to call them bottle jobs when these are the lads who've gotten Liverpool into contention. I could not have dreamt that this season could have gone as well as it's gone up into and including this point. Now, of course, if Liverpool don't pick themselves up and dust themselves down and continue to go, then yeah, why not? Feel free to throw loads of expletives and funny names at them and all that, but yeah, whatever. Stuart Armstrong, there's going to be a lot of these. I can sense this. Stuart Armstrong says, glad Edwards was in attendance so that he can see the Gakpo offers absolutely nothing. Defending it to my mates for so long, but that's just inexcusable. They played Bruno at centre-back, for Christ's sake. Yeah, tough one for Cody, and there's a lot. And I'll read a few Cody Gakpo comments. I won't submit to a pile-on, by the way, because he's a good footballer and he scored good goals and important goals for Liverpool. And he scored against Manchester United. He scored a couple of really good goals against Manchester United in his time at the club as well. That's good. We'd have had Coventry in the next round. It was so written. Liverpool, Man City, FA Cup final. Just felt like it was destined for Klopp's final game to bow out against Man City. But there you go. Wild. Sorry, I'm just watching the draw. This makes for terrible YouTube, I admit. Man City, Chelsea in the next round. God. Okay. Yeah, the Gakpo stuff's tough. It's tough on him. I'll get a few more up. Actually, I've got one from x.com here. Taylor Ogden says, Gakpo is done out here. Give me Dan's over him at this point. See, that's a take I can get behind because, yeah, like Dan feels like he's got something, but look, I think we forget this sometimes, and I'm always wary of this whole give games to the lads over the young lad over the senior lad. We see them for the minutes that they get on the pitch. The manager sees them in training week in, week out. Dan's a young lad with a long career ahead of him. If he's performing better than Gakpo in training, he will play games and minutes over Gakpo. That is for absolute certain. Jurgen Klopp doesn't pick favourites. He picks the ones who work the hardest and have the most ability. And Cody Gakpo, I keep coming back to it. He's not as good as... He's not a finisher like Jota. He's not like the all fight and energy like Nunes and Diaz, and he's not, he's just not clinical or silky all round as Salah is. He's an odd fit, and it did feel like I say a strange decision to double down on him because when we bought him, because we had no shortage of lads who could play left-sided forward, and we had no shortage of lads who could drop in and do a job at centre forward as well. He doesn't feel like a natural fit for any, and yet is more than capable of being the third best forward on the pitch for us, I think, at any given moment. But what we want is someone who's capable of coming in and fighting to be one of those sort of lads. And he's had his opportunity. He's definitely helped Liverpool through over this last 2 months. He really has. There's no taking away that he scored goals for Liverpool. He scored 2 on Thursday. But he doesn't feel like a lad that if you really need to turn a game, he's going to be the one who does it for you. When you own Salah, Núñez, Diaz and Jota, which is more than we've ever had, Gakpo, is it asking too much to ask Gakpo to also be that good? Are we spoiled? I don't think it's too much to ask, maybe, but yeah, it is an odd one. I mean, just checking it. Cody Gakpo has got 13 goals for Liverpool in all comps this season and 4 assists. That's 1 less than Diogo Jota, although he's played 800 more minutes than him this season. So yeah, I get the rawness on the Gakpo thing, I do. But yeah, I'm wary of this sort of parley on thing that I think inevitably can happen because we do, we take this very personally, and I get it. I do. It's easy to pin it on someone. I thought the players worked their absolute socks off and just lacked a little bit of cutting edge. Sometimes it is what it is, right? Right, okay, let's get back to YouTube. We've got loads here. Joan Alviso says, not going to agree with this ball job nonsense. Yeah, no, fair enough. Again, it's just is what it is. 2 more trophies to fight for. We knew 4 was going to be hard, as close as we were to winning this game. Yeah, and that's the thing. That they're the fine margins of it. There's no shame in losing to Manchester United on a counter-attack goal in the 120th minute, regardless of what we think of Manchester United. It's still a really tough place to go. And I've said this before, it's a stupid fact. It's 103 years since Liverpool last won at Old Trafford in the FA Cup. 103 years. Mad. John Sommers says, hi Paul, we win the league game against them now, no excuses. And it sounds stupid because I hate sitting here after a defeat and going, oh, it's all right because this game down the line, fuck the game down the line, the game now, but the thing is, that game's done now. It is done and dusted. I do weirdly feel, I do think we've got the measure of Manchester United, and they'll be buzzing. It's the FA Cup and they've got up for it. I think I think Ten Hag is not a good enough manager that he won't recognise that he got away with one a bit today. And I do feel weirdly loads more confident about the league game off the back of this, because I think we've seen we can hit them, we can. And I think on another day, I think that Liverpool are far and away over the hill and out of sight on that one. Brit Sniper says there, I think the lads were just tired, their legs went. They did, and that was a really tricky call toward the end. And I do wonder whether maybe instead of bringing Clark on, do you bring Dan's on? Because he just can go out there and run around and cause more of a threat up front. But I think the idea was, it was a fine. Again, Clark deserves his place in the team. Again, he's clearly performing. There's been a pecking order from what we've seen in recent weeks that Clark has grown in Jurgen Klopp's standing. Gravenberch obviously not fit enough to go in and impact the game just yet. Look, you live and die by your decisions, don't you? And look, ultimately, some players on the pitch made wrong decisions, and the manager made what decisions he made in substitutions. He's got so many rights, hasn't he? If you get them wrong, kind of fair play. Ewan, 97, played well most of the game. It just ended up with some unfortunate moments that led to goals. Focus on Europa and Premier League. Yeah, absolutely. Look, Liverpool have to now. There's 2 more competitions left to focus on. You can have a bad day at someone else's offers ultimately. How you pick up and go on from there is going to be vital to this. Because it's done now, we can recriminate over it, but, they've lost and it's shit. And we have to sort of sit in that now for 2 weeks while we wait for the international break to be over, which is doubly worse. But it means that really, really good players and managers and coaches have got 2 weeks to fester on it, and hopefully that gives them a real kick up the arse to come back as well. Swamp Neil says, we missed crucial chances against City to win the game, but City didn't score, so we stayed positive, but today it came back to bite us. Klopp playing a strong side midweek cost us, they looked knackered. Yeah, yes and no, because Salah and Szoboszlai needed 90 minutes to get themselves sharp, but I agree. The flip side of that is that they then didn't have 90 minutes in them for this game, which sounds counterintuitive. Could we have played them for 60 and then got a full 90 out of them this week? I don't know if sports science works that way. I don't. Salah doesn't go away with internationals, doesn't go away with Egypt this break, so he'll get a proper rest, and hopefully when he comes back from that, he's ready to go for the rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, again, if we're looking to point things, then I think that's actually is a pretty reasonable point. Talking Ball says, we've performed well this season, however this team isn't on the same level as 1920. We just have better depth. We rely too much on scoring late and aren't as clinical as we once were. Yeah, and look, Liverpool have scored so many goals this season. We've scored 3 again today. Sometimes it does just happen. I agree. I don't think this team is... Look, because 1920 was like the culmination of everything that built. That was the peak almost of that side. Jurgen Klopp had been, that was peak, its rise, the crescendo, and without the COVID and all the things that injuries that happened the next season, we might have seen that go on for another year. So I agree. Our best 11 probably isn't as good as the best 11 from 1920, but I agree, our squad depth is fantastic. And look, how you get there almost doesn't matter, because let's be honest, 1920, we didn't win the FA Cup in 1920 either. We won the league. That was it. We didn't win any other competitions. And we pissed the league, by the way. So yeah, the thing is, you balance it out. If Liverpool ultimately win the league, then it won't matter whether this team was better or not. But I think what you're trying to say is that, yeah, this side is ahead of its progression cycle. It's performing above and beyond. And they've also gone against some ludicrous stuff that's gone against them, adversity that actually has cut the legs off our season in previous years gone by, and instead we've gotten stronger for it. The mission now is we're in the run-in now. Once we get back from the international break, that's it. It's foot to the floor till the end of the season. The race begins for the Premier League title, and as a secondary concern, the Europa League. Will we have enough to do that? Can we get enough fit players back on the pitch to be able to do that? That's the challenge. Protégé do. Gakpo can F off. Linda's got that one wrong. Did he though? I keep saying this. 13 goals this season, scored goals in big games for us last year. Liverpool don't beat Man United 7-0 without him. He is our 5th choice attacking player. In years gone by, that was Takumi Minamino. Is he better than Takumi Minamino? Yes. He's already scored more goals, I think, than Minamino ever scored in a season for us. Go back to it, and look, you can't unpick the fact that Man United had injuries as well in this one, but we were missing the best goalie in the world and the best right back in the world, and our 2nd best goal scorer in Diogo Jota in that one as well. We still had injuries in midfield to contend with players not available to us, centre half. Yeah. The Gakpo thing, I get it. It's easy. You need to point fingers at someone, but yeah, whatever. Feel a bit sly for him, to be honest. Like in years gone by, our 5th choice forward in 18-19 was either Oxlade-Chamberlain or Ryan Brewster, who was injured for most of that season. That's the difference. That's where we're at. We've been spoiled for the quality that we've got. You don't get to have 22, 33 absolute killers on the field. Gakpo's fine. He's just not, again, he's not had a great day. He's not having a great season, I think, by his standard. And he does feel an odd fit when it's not working for him. He does feel a bit odd, but yeah, whatever. Riley Owen, gutted, but hopefully we can focus more on the league and Europa League now. Yes, absolutely. Swapnell comes back and says, I'm sorry, but what does Gakpo offer us? He was horrendous on the right and through the middle. No hold-up play, horrible passing and shite decision-making, and one game doesn't make us bottle jobs. Yeah, again, the Gakpo thing, he scores 13 goals across all competitions as our 5th choice attacker. That's what he does. I agree that he feels an odd fit when things aren't quite working out for him. I don't think he's direct enough to be a winger, and I don't think he's direct enough to play in Liverpool's attack. That's my concern over him. And Bobby Firmino wasn't direct enough to play in Liverpool's attack, but still was so good at what he did that he could make it kind of work. It's an odd one, it really is. Bruce Chua, mate, I'm fuming how we threw that game thrice over. Simple mistake, so many chances to put that to bed or hold on to the lead to run out the clock. Now puts more pressure on for the Premier League game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I actually, maybe, I can't speak to who feels pressure and who doesn't feel pressure. I think it kind of takes it off because I think Man United, there'll be more expectation on Manchester United now because they're idiots. And like when Man United have finished above Liverpool in the league, the 2 seasons they've done it in recent years, they thought it was because they were good and not that Liverpool was shit. And I think that's one of those things that they've got a weird arrogance around them that I think it will actually make it weirdly harder for them. But that's, yeah, just me taking some stories there. But yeah, chances to hold on, chances to finish. It's football. If you can't make exceptions for Manchester United beating you at Old Trafford, then I don't know really what you can do, to be perfectly honest, because Liverpool don't have a great record at Old Trafford, and that's one of them. Reece Williams, Liverpool did that to make sure Ten keeps his job and United stay where they are. Yeah, absolutely. If it means that Ten Hag's still in charge when we play them in the league, then I'm fine with that, to be perfectly honest. Welcome to Ryan, who's joined as a first teamer. And also been a member for 31 months. Can't wait for City to humble these diving pricks, yeah. Ethjam, last time we did the quad, we were shot the following season with fatigue. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Look, yeah, I'm all up for. There's plenty of positives to spin out of this, by the way. None of which really ring true because they're flights of fancy and fantasy at the moment. But I said it before. We've already got to move the Everton game to somewhere else in the league. Now, there's a slight chance that could end up in the running. So we might have to play that midweek before the final game of the season. So that means we could have to go to Goodison Park in a midweek chasing a Premier League title, which would be absolutely unbearable. If you get through to the semis, look, I'd rather be in a semi-final, go to Wembley with a chance of getting to a final, particularly because it would have been against Coventry. That would have been amazing. To potentially book a place with one game to play for another trophy, taking that all day long. But yeah, if we're going to spin it positively, if it means we can be stronger for the league and the Europa League, then I'd take that. I would. I'm not. That's why I'm not as crestfallen as some. It's annoying because it's Man United, but it's the FA Cup. You don't win a quadruple is basically impossible to do. Mission now is to make sure we secure one more piece of silverware, League or Europa League. I don't care. I'd rather it be the league. I'd do the same now. I would take bowing out of the Europa League if I could guarantee a Premier League, but Liverpool can still win two because they're still in two, and that's important. Right, sounds, yeah, we don't win cup games at United then. Yeah, no, we don't. Literally, we don't win cup games at United. Iggy says we gave them 2 cheap goals. Yeah, and Placid is welcome as a first team. I'll get your comments in now. I'll go through a couple from Twitter and then I'll be back. Lima, who's not feeling very positive at the back of that, is sloppy and wasteful, very lacklustre, won't win the league playing like that. Yeah, fine. Look, I apologise sometimes. I've been doing this job for a very, very long time. So whenever Liverpool lose, you see statements like this. If we play badly, then we won't win games. Yeah, I know. That's, of course, obviously. Yeah, that is definitely true. If Liverpool lose games of football, I mean, ultimately, they drew that in 90 minutes, so we'd have drawn that game in the league, and that would have been disappointing in and of itself, given how tight it is at the top. But yeah, I mean, there's a chance that we could draw at Old Trafford and still win the league. But yeah, let's not do that just yet. Billy says, no one to blame but ourselves. Hopefully this won't affect the players. We are Liverpool and have the chance to win 2 more trophies. Let's get it. Taking Mo off has travelled 2 stars, and Robbo offers a pivotal mistake. Momentum shifted against us immediately and we never recovered. Yeah, I mean, again, you also got to remember what they did. They made positive substitutions, and actually what they did was they threw caution to the wind. They basically effectively went 3 at the back and threw loads of attackers and stuck them there. They went gung-ho. I mean, that's not a sustainable way to play football. They won't be able to do that in the league in the same way. They can shift to that, but what I mean is, in a one-off do-or-die game, you can throw everything at it because you're in or you're out. And if we'd kept Robertson on the pitch, if we kept tired legs on the pitch, there's a chance we'd have lost that more, and we wouldn't have had any level of control over it. And ultimately, again, it's Old Trafford. They had the fans behind them. It's a tough place to go. It is what it is. Right, South. Michael King says, yeah, King 007. It's a frustrating game. We were wasteful and didn't manage it out well. You'd rather be in the next round with 2 fewer games is something to take. Yeah, look, I don't think the final counts, because ultimately the FA Cup final would have been the last game of the entire season. For Liverpool, it was the latest game in the season we could possibly have been involved in. And it would have been great to see Klopp off with another FA Cup win at Wembley. So there's no getting away from that. But yeah, you've got to turn that semi-final thing into a positive for you. Now, the Europa League, you go another round, it's just more midweek football. Games don't get rescheduled for Europe. I think those spaces already exist in the calendar, whereas FA Cup games, you lose league games and you move league games. So I agree in that. You've got to take one less game moved. I think that effectively would have meant if we go deep in the Europa League, if we'd had to move the Fulham game, I think definitely we'd have had Fulham or Everton in that midweek before the last game of the season. So yeah, it is a thing anyway. Let me just quickly get some. Yeah. We've got one here from the Discord from Pedro. Well, we've made Diallo into the next big thing at United to fade out like Martial et al. It's mad that he's not played more games for them. He's been on the bench for them for ages, and they've been bringing Anthony on into games of footy. He made it a really, he's made it tough. Just another pacey, direct football who's prepared to stretch us. Yeah, fair play. And this is a really good comment, actually, which I totally agree with. From DK Waters here, says, get that shit out of our system now. We have to be perfect to win the league after this break. No fucking complacency, no entitlement. Get this shit done, Reds. Yeah, and I often say this with certain games of football is the league is on such a knife edge that you've got no room for complacency. I don't think Liverpool were going to go unbeaten for the rest of the season. If that's the game that we lose, and then we go unbeaten in the rest of the competitions, then great. If you're going to choose a game to get that out of your system, it should be the league, because you should have more room for error. You should be able to lose 5 or certain games a season and you still win the league, but you can't anymore. So yeah, that's what I mean. This is all me. It's clutching at the moment, but what I mean is this is how Liverpool's mentality's got to be. This is how they've got to think about it moving forward. Disappointing, kicking the teeth, knackered. Go and get yourself some rest, dust yourself down, work out what went wrong, and make sure that doesn't happen again, and then go full throttle for the rest of the season. Jake Jones has spent £2 of his own money to say harsh, but Gakpo should never play again. I would just point out on this, by the way, because again, Gakpo is being the main scapegoat at the moment. Fine, there's always that. People have got a lot of room for blame in their lives. Instead of going, these lads have been dead good and sometimes you don't win every game, which is probably what we should be doing. Jurgen Klopp won't throw him away, and he shouldn't do. He's a good footballer. He's a really, really good footballer. He would start for the vast majority of teams in the league and Champions League, and certainly the Europa League. He's just not at the moment quite as good as some of the other lads that we've got. But we've been here before. We've been Dejan Lovren. We were here every 2 or 3 times a season. We were here with Lovren, and then he put down an amazing run off the back of it. I do agree that I think there's probably a conversation in the summer about what you do with Gakpo. And you might be able to get better, but that's a conversation for the summer. He's here. We're going to need every single fit and available player to pull in the right direction. And Gakpo is the reason, amongst everyone else who's been in this squad, as much as everyone is going absolutely fucking nuts for Jadon Danns, and this should be a very exciting young player, Cody Gakpo has contributed to this season not quite 10 times as much, but 1.5 times as much, more than, double as much. Well, no, actually, yeah, probably 7.5 times as much, maybe. Someone did the math. Loads more. And he will contribute more as well. It is what it is. Right, I'm going to wrap that up there. I'm going to be doing player rankings. Fun. Please come over to that show and help me with that one, because it's wild, because I thought we put some great performances in. How the hell do you put them into 3 categories? Find out how I do that very shortly here on YouTube. Drop a like. And don't forget to buy your tickets, by the way, for the live show. I know it's easier when it's all positive, but it's actually just come through. Amber, I don't know if we can bring the screen up. Dublin at the Academy, the 25th of March. If you go to Ticketmaster and search Redmen TV, we're at Belfast this time next. No, not the advert, it's fine, just my laptop screen, that's cool. There we go. Low availability at the Dublin Academy. We are going to sell both of those events out this week, so grab your tickets while you can. Go to Ticketmaster, search Redmen TV, and come and join us live in the flesh Sunday or Monday next week. Thank you so much. Ta-ra. Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on Redmen Plus.